Get ready to feel
The power.
that's Colin Crandall and myself, Adam Roorda, here with another episode of MMA Power Hour. Make sure to catch us over on our social media. We will be moving everything over there. If you're on Fight TV, if you're already on social media, checking us out on the Hannibal TV, that's excellent. Those of you not on not on Fight TV, make sure to head on over there. Great organization. We're just kind of wrapping some things up with them and moving on to our own platform. Actually, going to be building that over time here. Those of you have that don't know already, I'm with Lith Token, and we are building out our own video stuff out there. It's through a bunch of different partnerships, but Colin and I are really excited for the next part of the adventure here.
Absolutely, Adam. As Dana White would say, if you don't know, now you know.
Now you know.
And so, yeah, we're rocking, man, with Lith Token, Adam's great team there. And Third Wheel Studio here, the only place where it actually feels good to be a third wheel.
Right.
With the great guys over here, Mike, Armand, Harrison, the few other guys whose names escape me at the moment, but a big love for you guys. And really, really looking forward to a great season. We're going to be talking to a ton of big stars, coaches, trainers, managers, jiu-jitsu teachers, jiu-jitsu competitors, maybe Muay Thai fighters. That's been one of the stories of our show, that we're not just grabbing all the same people that a lot of shows focus on. We're really wanting you to get an idea of what it's like to be all the integral parts of an MMA fighter's team. And so we talk to a lot of coaches. We love our coach chats, trainers, managers, and fighters, and who knows who else we'll grab in here. But our goal is to really bring interesting conversation and really interesting people to you, and to make them the stars of the show. When we have a segment where the celebrity fighter or guest is not on, then Adam and I are the stars of the show. That's when we have fun and exchange our amazing, wacky, somewhat wacky and crazy barbs. I throw in my dad humor and some really, really wacky shit, which I love throwing in. Adam comes in with his great stuff. I mean, you can think of us, for those of you who are fans of the vintage cartoons, you can think of us as the Space Ghost show, where I would be Space Ghost and he would be the Mantis Zorak. And
yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
and now one of these guys would have to come in and be Brack. But the only thing is, I don't have that power to fry Adam here when he says something that rips on me. But we're pretty good to each other, and we like to throw some funny stuff out there. Anyway, we got a good show. Dr. Adam Roorda, two exciting guests, and their return guests. Always love those kind of guests because we know them a bit better, and we can have a really good flow and a great chat.
Absolutely.
And we are done with UFC fights for the year, meaning there are no more until the new year, and it is the 21st of December, so that makes sense. They're not going to have a fight on Christmas Day. And I don't think Bellator or PFL is as well. And who knows, maybe somewhere over in Poland, KSW might be hosting fights. I don't know, probably not. So we can recap a little bit the fights from last week, and we can talk about upcoming fights as well, all interdependent on what we can find on our cell phones and what our guys can put on the monitor there.
Yeah, if you guys could pull up best fight odds for us over here, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely, and we appreciate it. The logo's looking good. And so how far away are we? We got 4 minutes until our first guest, but I guess as soon as we see him on Zoom, then we will jump on, and that first guest will be Jamal. And so we're looking forward to that. So, yeah, look at that January 15th card. Interesting fight. It always makes me nervous. You see how there's only one sports book that is showing that first fight? Usually that happens when a fight has been canceled or it was just announced.
Right.
And I hope it's the latter, because that's the main event, and you always hate when the main event is canceled.
When it all of a sudden falls off.
Yeah, and but Sean Strickland is an unusual guy. He's the guy that's been saying he has dreams of killing people and other stuff. And you see what Sugar Sean O'Malley said. He wouldn't want to fight on a fight card with Sean Strickland because he's afraid he would attack him. He said, I don't know what that. He said, that guy says weird, crazy stuff. and he said, what if he feels that there's too many Seans on the card? And
Oh man.
then he attacks Sean O'Malley, who's like half his size, And so O'Malley says, "No, don't put me on a card with him. He's too unpredictable." But interesting card: Jennifer Maia against Caitlin Chukagian, Michael Pereira against Muslim Salikov. Wow, that's an exciting fight. Muslim Salikov, also known as the King of Kung Fu, a really unorthodox striker with that tough Eastern Bloc grittiness, and Michelle Pereira is so unorthodox and so tricky, long, rangy, explosive, exciting. That's an amazing fight, and they have Pereira, the Brazilian, slight favorite, and that's going to be fun. Abdul Razak El Hassan against, from Michigan, Joaquin Buckley, out of that great Murcielago gym with Curran Jacobs, Chaos Williams, a whole bunch of other really good people. And Buckley is slight favorite there, as he should be. Al Hassan is somewhat unpredictable, but is really powerful, so that should be an interesting fight. Brandon Royval, who we've had on the show, is really in a good fight, slight favorite against Rogerio Bontorin, and that's an exciting fight.
I think they have that one right, yeah.
Yeah. Clayton Rodriguez, I'm not that familiar with, nor am I. Zaruch Adeshev, I'll look at them. I think I've heard of Adeshev. Bill Algeo is a tough dude. He is an underdog to Joe Anderson Brito, who I have not heard of, so I'll look into that. Brian Kelleher.
Not on a roll tonight, man.
Man, I'll tell you, I don't know what they're doing with these guys on the card.
Well, it's the new year, new names,
That's
right?
what it is. Maybe me and you will be on the card after that, or the
of
guys
which
over.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas this year.
Yes.
We're going into the holiday season here, so cut us some slack while you guys are enjoying us looking like a couple of doofuses and figuring everything out.
Exactly.
But we do our best. We'll do everything to keep you guys updated.
We will. And a happy holidays all around. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. And what is there anything else? I think that's just happy not believing.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays in general. We hope you guys have a
happy
great
family
one.
time.
Yes, definitely. And Brian Kelleher's tough. Chase Sherman's on. Absolutely. If you guys could scroll, I guess it is up so we can see a little bit lower. Let me see if that works. There we go. Beautiful. Chase Sherman, Jake Collier, interesting fight. That might be a loser go home fight. Unfortunately, they both had a little bit of a struggle with their track record in the UFC. But two tough guys. Chase is a unique dude. We had him.
We've had him on what, twice?
I think it was once. It took about 12 phone calls over 8 months, and we did get Chase.
We did get him on.
Yeah, he doesn't like to do media that much. He's an interesting dude. He's kind of like a real out of the ghetto white guy.
You know what? We did have him on twice.
Did we?
Yeah, once was like a half one, and it didn't work out so well with his side, so he came on the next week.
Okay, yeah.
I'm remembering that now.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. I mentioned his fight in bare knuckles, and he mentioned something like I had 3 or 4 fights, and then he said I didn't do my homework. Like, thanks, dude, for being one of the few guys to insult me on my own show. And I'm like, well, but we do call it MMA Power Hour, right? Don't we, Chase? So I know your MMA record really well. And so, but, and then he said, I don't even want to talk about the bare knuckles. That was when my contract was up. And I'm like, all right, dude, you back off a little bit, big man. We're okay. Don't worry. We're not trying to fuck you up here or anything. Sorry to swear. But, Court anyway, Court
I don't know why you're apologizing.
Yeah, I shouldn't be. Court McGee is going up against Ramiz Brahimaj, who's a very, very tough guy. Can't wait to see him fight again. Dakota Bush in action against Vyacheslav Borachev, and then other fights as well. Do we see our guest yet in the Zoom, guys? No? Okay, so I wonder if, it'd be nice. It'd be really nice if I had a phone somewhere here, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know where you put it, so I don't know what to tell you.
I hate to ask, but could one of you guys look and see if I left my phone in there? Because if not, it's going to be in my car. And if it's in my car, we're going to possibly have... Well, yeah.
Colin,
you know what? Actually, the guys here have his email address.
Yeah.
At least I know Mike does. You guys have it, right? Where you sent the Zoom link?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, could you maybe touch base with him again real quick, maybe, and let him know we're ready for him as soon as he can jump on? You guys don't see a phone in there, huh? No phone. So it's still in my car. Hey, this is fun. This is part of the. Is it fun though? For who?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah. So basically, if there's any further delay of our guest jumping on, then we have to have someone actually run to my car and get the thing. And I'm not trying to assume anyone here is willing to, but I suppose I could if Adam wanted to.
Nah, we'll stay at this. We'll be fine. Just keep rolling, and I just sent him a friend request on Instagram and see if.
Yeah, that's where I communicate with him on Instagram.
Oh, via ours.
Yes. Yeah, you got it.
I do not actually have that in this phone.
You don't.
Won't.
Damn. Well,
we're on a roll.
Man, oh man.
4 weeks of being on a roll like this.
I tell you what, you know.
It doesn't get sticky. Thank you for not doing it.
No, exactly. Well, this is we've had him on for a great interview. I think twice before, and then last week he wasn't able to make it. He fell asleep. He wasn't feeling well, but he absolutely guaranteed that we're going to be on this week. That he's going to come on, and the call time is 6:10.
Well, I believe I remember the password, so we'll see here.
There we go. See if it works. Okay. Anyway, so basically interesting fights in that card coming up in the first of the year, and then the last card. Let me try to remember what we were looking at. Okay, Derek Lewis against Chris Dawkis. So that was a tough fight. Chris Dawkis is a really good fighter. We've had Chris on the show a couple of times. Really, really nice guy. He got caught by Derek Lewis. What can I say? Almost everyone that fights Derek Lewis gets caught with the power. He's got kind of a George Foreman-esque type of thing going on. For those of you that remember, one of the great things that allowed George Foreman to compete at an older age was he had that tremendous one-punch power in both hands, but he also was tall and had a long reach. So he was kind of like a porcupine, so to speak. You really didn't want to get close to him at all, because he could just reach out and tag you with that incredible power, even though he was slower than molasses, as they used to say, in his second career. But because of the reach and because of that power, you just, you didn't want to get anywhere near him. And Derek Lewis, he has that going for him. He's quicker than an old George Foreman. He's not that old, in his mid-30s. And he's got that power and reach. And I think, Can
you guys send me the link to my Instagram, or our Instagram? If you could do that, that'd be awesome. He's looking for the link to it. So
okay. And good. So that sounds good. At least we're realizing that as soon as our guest can, he'll be jumping.
Some of these guys in their emails. I'm sure.
So he's saying he didn't get anything by email or something. Yeah.
Stuff disappears in internet.
Exactly. Okay, so I think what happened in that fight with Chris Dawkis and am I good on this? Yeah.
Yeah, you're
good.
With
Chris Dawkis and Derek Lewis was, I don't think Chris Dawkis wanted to stand there and trade that much, but what happened was his back was against the fence and the big man just rushed him. And it's unfortunate, because if Chris was like a D1 wrestler, then just drop and start shooting. But he isn't.
I do have to say, you called that one.
I don't think so, because I always cheer for our guests. I wanted. Well, you know what? I called what could have been the result. I wanted Chris to win, because I know I've had an exchange back and forth after fights with Derek Lewis. He's a cool dude. He's friendly. He's funny. But we've had Chris on the show a few times, and he's such a nice guy. He and his brother. So I had hoped Chris would win. I thought he could do it, but not enough to have anyone put money on it. He wasn't part of my official picks, and I mentioned that that one punch power is very scary of Derek Lewis. And he rushed him, he cornered him, so to speak, and basically Chris went out on his shield. He went out throwing.
Right.
And and Derek is just a tough guy. And I think does that show our guy there?
Yep.
Jamal Hill, excellent. Jamal, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can't hear you quite yet, but we're just about there.
Okay, Jamal, we see you, but we can't hear you, and the reverse will be for us. You won't.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I got you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent. Does that remind you of an old TV commercial when you were a kid, when the guys walking around saying, "Can you hear me now?"
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Good.
Exactly. That was how it was back in those days, man. No one's hearing anyone, but it's way better now. Anyway, we're
My
live.
mom want to know how she gonna watch y'all show.
Okay, how she can watch our show right now, that's a good question. Well, right now on Fight TV, if she wants to jump on there, and that's free. There's no charges. There's no hidden charges. There's no nothing. You can just go to FI. Yeah, or you don't even have to. You don't even have to. She can go on her desktop or laptop or probably even phone just to FITE.tv.
She got a smart TV.
She goes, okay, then Fight TV, yeah. Isn't Fight, Adam?
Should be able to go to the
Can she get
go
Fight?
to the apps. Go to your app store and download Fight TV.
There you go. And then she'll see it there. And then we're also
we live right now?
We are live right now. And then it's going to stay up. And then it's actually going to be on Facebook and YouTube a couple hours from now as well, if she has any problems or if she wanted to watch it there. So let me give you a proper introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, very excited to have this next guest on the show once again, coming off a huge win a couple weeks ago in the UFC against Jimmy Crute. We were talking about the man fighting out of my home state of Michigan, although originally from Chicago, Mr. Jamal Hill. And welcome back to the show. Did I catch that originally from Chicago part? That's right? I
am. I'm born in Chicago. I was born in Cook County Hospital.
There you go, man. And now you're fighting out of Michigan and representing Detroit and the Detroit Fighting Spirit. So let's talk about that. No, you're not. What are you?
Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids. There we go. Do you remember which president before you were born was from Grand Rapids?
Ford.
There you go. Nice.
It's only been one.
That's right. That is true. One president in history out of Grand Rapids, Gerald Ford. He was interesting, and how he got in was very unique. He didn't get elected, but the man before him, Richard Nixon, resigned before an impeachment. And then Gerald Ford came in, but he was a unique dude. But let me talk about some fights, Jamal. So
wait. Since we're doing trivia, we're not just going to jump past it.
Okay,
trivia.
You got some trivia for me?
How many champions are from Grand Rapids?
Damn, are we talking about only MMA?
Combat sports.
In combat sports. Oh, man.
Combat sports champions are from Grand Rapids.
Well, I think I'm looking at a future champion right now. Yeah, right, but I give up. What's the answer, man?
I like that answer.
Good. But
I thought you had all the facts. I didn't really have an answer. I thought you had.
Oh man, I wish I did. But you know what? I got to say this.
I think there's 4.
Really?
Floyd, Peter Quillen, right. Buster Douglas. I know I'm forgetting one.
You could be right, although
5 if you include me.
There we go, exactly. Now Buster Douglas, I thought he was representing our rivals over in Ohio. I thought he was over there somewhere in Ohio. Buster Douglas.
Listen, Buster Douglas was.
He was Ohio, I'm pretty sure.
Hearns is from Detroit, right?
Yeah, who is?
Hearns is from Detroit.
Yeah,
right?
Oh, absolutely. Tommy Hearns was 100% Detroit.
So who was the one? He was a heavyweight.
Out of Detroit in boxing?
He's like, he was a boxer. He's a heavyweight or something.
Well, Joe Louis, many years ago, was a guy who was raised in Detroit, and he was one of the greatest heavyweight champions ever. So if you think about that, yeah, Joe Louis back in the day, he was actually born in Alabama, but he was raised in Detroit. I had a great uncle that did some training with him. Great uncle back in the day that did some boxing training with Joe Louis out of Detroit. So I had several uncles that did some boxing. One of them got to be ranked in the top 10 like 60 years ago. So I got it in my blood. I never stepped forward and did it like you, but I always enjoyed training and getting in shape, being able to defend myself. So let's talk some fights here, man. I'm super impressed with that.
Before we talk fights,
you got something?
My mom's house. She wanted me to show y'all her door.
Let's see what we got.
So y'all can check out the door.
I love it.
Got the upside down Santa's coming down.
Beautiful.
The chimney.
That's awesome. I love that. Good. Nice. Good stuff. Tell your mom I like it. You got to have the holiday spirit with some humor. I appreciate that.
Come on, baby.
So are you back in Chicago now? Or has your mom moved over to Michigan where you train?
No, I'm not in Chicago. I'm up with my mom. I ain't gonna lie. I actually this interview actually slipped my mind. My daughter had a basketball game, so I just left. I'm just leaving that.
Oh man. I understand that can happen. I appreciate you still jumping in, man. And there's
my daughter.
There. Hey, how you doing? You say she's got.
I don't want to be on camera.
I hear you. Well, it looks like she's getting the athleticism from you. It looks like that's running in the family, huh?
For sure.
All right, cool. So it looks like you're out in a parking lot or something now.
Yeah, my bad, bro.
That's cool, man. All right, so Jamal, let's talk some fights here, man. I always appreciate chopping it up with you, but fights. So we're excited in that last fight against Jimmy Crute. You were the underdog, and that was a very important fight. I mean, you were still in a good position, and you had had a few wins, but you had had a loss in the previous fight. And so going into this fight with Jimmy Crute, what was on your mind? I know you really wanted to. You really wanted to get back on the winning track, and but so did Jimmy Crute. And what was your thought about what he brought, and what was your feeling about how important a victory was in that fight?
I knew Jimmy was tough, and I knew he was a solid challenge. Like more so for me, it was just getting back in the win column, bro. Getting back on track. You know what I mean? Flush your last fight and getting back focused on what I do. You know what I mean? And yeah, just getting back to that. I've been dominant my entire career.
Yep.
I had one slip. So it was just completely about getting back to that, being myself. I didn't, like I said before my fight, I had nothing to prove. I went into my fight before thinking I had something to prove. I was undefeated. I had nothing to prove. All I had to do was just keep being myself.
Absolutely, I like that. So Jimmy, obviously, what people were thinking is in a good case scenario, you touch him up on the feet. But in a bad case scenario for you, or in a good case scenario for him, they were thinking maybe he could get you on the ground and get on top and try to start making you think it was a deja vu, and getting into a submission grappling exchange. And then that didn't happen, and you caught him before he could do that. But did it seem to you like he was okay with just standing and trading, or did it seem like he was about ready to jump in and try to get it to the ground?
He was shooting.
Yeah. Okay.
He was shooting. When I caught him, he was trying to time my jab and slip under the jab.
Okay.
Which is why it was the result that it was, because whenever we backed up, I found the range, controlled it. Because I felt comfortable with it, I sold the feint of the jab. It was very quick and very subtle. I sold the jab, and when he bought the jab, he go slip under, and that was when the check hook came.
Nice. And did you train that with your team? I would imagine so.
Yeah, I train everything. So like with me, I don't go into one thing and be like, oh, he does, or like oh, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna look for this, or this is what I'm gonna look for. I sharpen all my tools so they're always ready whenever that opportunity is there, because the opportunity can present itself on the dime. In a split second in the midst of a fight. You can see an opening. Oh, he made this little mistake right here. Mm-hmm. And if all my tools need to be ready to take advantage when that happens. If he drops his hand here, my hook needs to be sharp at all times. If he drops his hand here, my straight needs to be straight. It needs to be sharp at all times. Uppercut needs to be ready. The check hook needs to be ready.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Whatever.
Absolutely. So after that fight, you were definitely fired up. Would you say the feeling was more of a relief, or more happiness, or more just glad to get it over with, or what?
Validation. There's validation. Like you still him. You still that guy. That last fight meant nothing. Everything that I felt like was that I did wrong to end in that result was exactly that. So I got that validation as well. So I learned. I just grew and became better.
Absolutely.
I'm more dangerous than ever.
Absolutely, I agree. Now, are you looking at different opponents for your next fight, or are you someone that would really love to run it back with the guy that put that loss on your record?
Obviously, when it comes to what I I'd like to fight Paul and get that fight back at some point. Well, like right now, obviously, if it's the fight, one thing UFC gonna say, I've never turned down a fight. Right. Every fight that they've offered me, from when they offered me number 10 in the world when I wasn't ranked till now, I've never turned down a fight. So if they put his name out there, I would take it.
Nice.
But I feel that Paul deserves to move on. He's put together a nice streak. He's added me to the list along with Shogun and Eagle-Eye and a couple other guys. So yeah, he deserves to move on. You know what I mean? If I was in a position, I'd want to move on.
Right.
So I'm not gonna try to hold. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna try to hold that up. I want him to keep winning. I want Paul to go through and dominate everybody. So the next time we do get back to that rematch, it's for some serious marbles.
Absolutely. You could definitely see him down the line. That makes a lot of sense. Did you do more practicing on your grappling for the Jimmy Crute fight after the Paul fight? You did not.
No, I did because I train everything.
Okay.
Like what was more grappling? Like I wake up in the morning 9 o'clock, from 9 to 10:30, I'm doing jujitsu.
Nice.
Then I do an hour of striking. I go to strength and conditioning. Then I'm back doing jujitsu for an hour, 2 hours. Then I do striking again. So what more grappling am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to take off an hour of striking in it and just add more, overload more jujitsu onto that? No, I work my game religiously all well round. Just because something goes wrong, things go wrong.
Yep.
You know, that doesn't mean I throw out everything that I've been doing for the last almost 12 years that's had me undefeated.
Yep. I agree 100%. That's a good answer. So talk to me a little bit about the landscape at light heavyweight. You got Glover Teixeira coming off that great win. I don't know why people didn't see it, but I saw that fight and felt that you got that too.
I called that.
Nice. He's a tough old dude, Glover, man, and at 42, and he really is. And when it gets to be the heavier weights, guys have a longer shelf life. Like you could fight 15 more years up at your weight, or if you eventually go to heavyweight. Speaking of which, and then let's jump back into light heavyweight. Do you see yourself 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now at heavyweight, or do you feel you could put in your career all at light heavyweight?
I mean, it all depends. It all depends. I've fought heavyweight before, but like right now, I think light heavyweight has some good new blood in it. It's a good opening. You know, star can be made. A king of dominance, of longevity needs to be established in this weight class. I feel like, and I feel like I could be that, as well as maybe take a page out of the Daniel Cormier chapter, double champ.
Yep.
You know, who knows? You know what I mean? Maybe you want to do something crazy, triple champ. Who knows?
Right. I love that. Now, my feeling is the light heavyweight division and the heavyweight division in the UFC are not as stacked and as deep as some of the other divisions. I'm not saying they don't have talented people in it, but I feel like you're in a good position. Whereas someone in your position at, say, like lightweight or featherweight, they could be waiting like 3 years before they get in the mix. But I feel like you're probably really maybe one more win away from really being in the mix with a bunch of these top guys. And I would imagine you would agree, or do you think you might have to get a couple more?
Yeah, no, I feel like I already feel like I'm in that mix. Just based off of, but I feel like I'm in that mix just based off of my skills and who I am and what I've already shown, what I'm showing that I can do,
right,
and I'm capable of. Some of the divisions, I think they have more well-known names just because of the simple fact of, I don't know, bro. Honestly, I think it's the weight thing. They're able to fight more often.
Right.
They're able to fight more often. You know, they only have to cut maybe 15, 20 pounds, where somewhere you got a guy at light heavyweight that could be anywhere from 30 to 40 pounds heavy.
That's true.
You know? And so that's I think that plays a huge factor into it.
You could be right, because those guys can come in on 2 weeks' notice because they're only maybe within striking distance, 12 pounds of their weight. It makes sense. But looking at the guys that are at light heavyweight, we got yourself, we got Paul Craig, we got Alexander Rakic, we got Anthony Smith, we got Glover, we got Jan Blachowicz, that other crazy guy, Yuri Prochnovska, right? And is there anyone else you can think of that's up there? Am I forgetting anyone else? I think it's mostly like 5 and.
Like, it depends on what the criteria that we're talking about for them to meet. Like, right. as far as potential stars, so we're talking like superstars, like that, like on Adesanya, maybe a Chimaev,
right?
Level like type deal. In my weight class, the only people I see like that truly is
Ankalaev. I forgot Ankalaev, right? Also,
Ankalaev. I think Ankalaev can be that just because of where he's from,
right?
And he is he is a very good and talented fighter. But I believe I don't know, bro. This, like, you gotta have a certain type of personality and a certain swag to yourself too.
Right.
My man's kind of dull. You know,
Yeah.
nothing personal with
Right.
him. I just
Right.
I don't really get it. I'm not really drawn in to his personality like that.
Right.
You know,
Right. You mean Ankalaev? Yeah, it's harder when the people can't speak English that well. That does
yeah.
make it harder for sure. And if they're low key, not.
Sometimes those usually are the funniest, coolest dudes.
That's true. If you can communicate with them, I heard that, right? If they can they learn a few words in English. Yeah, some of those guys really are fun and
Pretty
fun.
much anybody, pretty much all the dudes I've met from the UK are fucking funny as shit.
Yeah,
They're
yeah. That is true. I've always loved that UK humor, man. They have a dry wit. Like you should watch some of their comedies, man. Their comedies are funny as hell because they got yeah, dude, you're right. They got that that dry
Attack
wit.
the block.
Right.
Attack the block. I watch that shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Dickens, bro.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Some funny stuff. Those guys got the humor down. So many of these fights, man, since you have that striking and that exciting style, there's a lot of these guys we mentioned would be fun fights with you. Yuri, that would be a crazy fight.
I think
with you.
Yuri, but like I was saying, though, I think Yuri's one of them. I think Yuri, Ankalaev, and then me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Other than that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think on a respect level, I think Glover could get there with a nice run.
Yep.
Just on the respect level, because everybody loves and respects Glover so much. Just you know what I mean, just because he's showing us other possibilities.
Right.
You know what I mean, he's blazing the trail like that, showing you other possibilities. You're gonna love that.
Right. What about sorry to interrupt your flow, man, but what about William Knight? What do you think of that guy? That guy's like a tank of a man, isn't he?
William's a cool dude, bro.
You know him?
He's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but from his first eye, from his interviews, for how he speaks, he's a cool dude. We actually fought. We just fought on the same card, so I seen him. I mean, he's a respectful guy. He carries himself well. But bro, like skill, I pay attention to the skill. I understand fighting. I understand skill on a certain level.
Right.
You know what I mean? My man's ain't. He's strong as shit. That's it.
Yeah.
Once he get up there with the talented people that actually know, like me. Like, can you imagine me? What do you think would happen in the fight with me and William?
Yeah, you'd touch him up. It's just
he could be. And I'm gonna be real, and I'm just being 100. I'm not trying to diss. I'm not trying to be like, oh no, type of nothing like that.
No.
I'm just 100% real. Yeah. We fight in the same weight class. Yep. If you really feel some type of way, you know what I'm saying? Work your way like I have. And you know what I mean, I have no problem showing you exactly what I'm talking about. Yep. Could you imagine him versus me?
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't even be close.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, just the size and the reach, I mean, like a lot of people look at a guy like that with all the muscles he has and says he doesn't even really have like necessarily a fighter's body. He has almost like a bodybuilder type of body.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He probably should be down at 185. What do you think?
Man, bro, I seen him, bro. He's short, bro. He's short. Don't get me wrong. He's diesel as shit. But the thing about those big ass muscles, it take a lot of oxygen to move those muscles.
Right. You just don't really
a whole lot of oxygen to move those muscles.
Exactly. You just don't really see a guy that thick, making it that far. But it's interesting because he's athletic. He's got some kicks too and stuff. He's a trip. He's a unique dude.
He's very athletic.
Yeah.
I agree. He is athletic. He does have some tricks. But when it comes in, I'm just saying, bro, I understand this shit on a different level.
Yeah.
Like the science behind fighting, about how you attack somebody, how you break somebody down in a fight.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what game plan can he come up with to beat somebody like me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Guys try to grab me. Besides try to grab me, hope he can do it. But here's the thing about that. His grappling ain't his skill is that strength goes away at the simple fact of I'm a more skilled grappler than he is.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that just kind of just brushes, or it just kind of puts him in a bad spot, bro.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You know
I agree.
And I think a lot of it has to do with him being a late bloomer. Like, when did he start doing MMA?
You're right. It was late because I think he's like 34 or something right now.
You know what I'm saying? He started doing it late, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's certain reflexes, certain natural feels and abilities and things that me and other fighters like I mean, I've been doing that'll have that he won't be able to match.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
I have certain go-tos. I have certain things that are built into my instinct, built to my memory, to where as soon as I see it, I know exactly what to do.
Right.
Exactly how to react off.
Right.
I don't see that when he fights.
No, you're right.
You know what
It does. You're right. It doesn't look. It doesn't look so smooth. It does look a little choppy. It looks like he's more reacting and then trying to use strength. Like that fight with Menefield was interesting because they were both kind of tanks.
He didn't win that fight.
You felt Menefield beat him? Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
Minifield won that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every single person that I was with that saw that and saw the end of that fight was like, how the fuck did he win?
Yeah, it was close. It was interesting because both of them were like tanks, but Williams even more of a tank than Alonso.
Sure.
You know, and so that was an interesting fight. But so let's look at what's coming up. So next for Glover, it's either be Yuri or Rakic. Who would you think would deserve it?
I mean, both have a case, I guess. Me personally, I think it should be Rakic, just because Rakic has been here longer. Who's had the most success at this weight? Who's done, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's done the more things to put yourself in championship position?
Right.
I think that's Rakic. Yuri came in and beat two guys that were on losing streaks.
Right. That's true. I agree that everyone's talking about him. But so let's say if it's Glover versus Rakic, is Jan fighting someone? Did you hear Jan signed up? I almost thought I hear Jan.
I haven't heard it.
So all right. So if it's Glover or Rakic, then maybe they might put Jan against Yuri. They're both from Poland, I think. So they probably wouldn't necessarily like to fight each other as countrymen.
I thought Yuri had a fight.
Does he? Who would it be though? Who would it be?
Dude, you got your laptop handy right now?
Let's take a look. Do you want to see if one of my producers can pull up a Yuri Prokofska?
No, not Yuri. Jan.
Jan. Okay, Jan Blachowicz. Jan, and it's spelled BLACHOWICZ. Yeah, let's see if you guys, if anyone can find on SureDog.
In fact, he's fighting Rakic.
Wait, Jan is fighting Rakic? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jan's fighting Rakic.
I thought he had something signed, but I wasn't sure. Okay, so if that's the case,
I just thought about that.
then that means they're probably going to be giving Yuri to Glover.
Yuri. Yeah,
Okay. And so
that's what goes back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
About who has the star ability.
That's it. And
man, it's Jan. It's Yuri.
Yuri,
it's
absolutely.
Yuri.
How
do you mean? While Jan was champion, this stock, honestly, how much did this stock really go up?
Not a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, and he kind of started a little bit later, but one of the things with Jan is he spent so many years outside the UFC. Like I remember reading about his name,
getting experience.
Right. You know, but then
no matter how going through a camp,
yep,
getting locked in that cage,
yep,
is something you have to get used to.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's true. The only unfortunate thing
about my comfortability,
right.
It's not like he just got thrown in. I've been fighting since 2010.
Right, exactly. You could tell right when you came in, you had the experience, and it's a good thing. The only problem with Jan is you could say he spent so many years getting so many fights outside the UFC. I think he was almost like 31 or 2 by the time he got in the UFC, which is not that old, but
that much older than I was when I got here. Shit, I was 28.
Okay, well, but still 3 or 4 years. Those are key years. Yeah. Although, right, you know, and now though, by the time he started getting a lot of action and play, I mean, he got that title. You can never take that away from him. But
absolutely
right.
Not. He is a champion.
You're right.
He'll forever be a champion.
Exactly. But he may not have that many years left because of his age, and people have only heard of him for the last 3 years, you know. So it is what it is, but I think
what is he? What is he, 37?
He is like 37, almost 38.
How old is he? And how old is the guy that just took him out?
You're right. That's true. That's true.
Like I said, bro,
yep.
Glover just taught us. He taught us something, bro.
Yeah, and you're right about that. Yeah.
We can ignore that. We cannot ignore that.
It is really
true.
And
not only that, before him, and we had Randy. Let's not forget about what Randy Couture did at the age of 46.
Oh yeah,
something years old.
And then you had Dan Henderson in there. It's true. No, you're right about that. You're right, and it's funny because I'm an older guy myself, so I'm always embracing the older guys. So I'm with you on that.
You realize that you got older, but truly,
right?
Until you actually think about it in moments, do you really feel any older than you was 30?
You know, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm going to say I'm a little older than that, but I don't feel that much different than 10 years ago. You're right. I really don't.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I can still move.
You just notice little things. I think what main thing that you notice is interest.
Yeah.
You start to lose your interest shifts.
Right.
Certain different things. You
Right.
start to learn a little bit something different about yourself, a little bit more about yourself.
Right. Kind of like in that Amanda Nunes fight, man. I mean, that was such a weird fight because, right? No one thought by past performances that Juliana Pena was going to do anything with Amanda Nunes. But the Amanda Nunes that showed up, it really looks like she was thinking, you know what? I got money. I've got this daughter now.
I don't think it was that.
What do you think it was?
I don't think it was that. I recognized it right when I saw it.
Tell me.
She thought all she had to do was show up.
Right. Like, yeah, like
she felt that's what it is. It's like people like, you can't really take it much more past that. I take it just as that. She felt like all she had to do was show up.
Right. So it was like the Mike Tyson Buster Douglas from 30 years ago, pretty much, right?
It was like me. It was like me versus Paul Craig.
Right. You thought you touched this guy and he's out.
That's why I recognized it right when I saw it.
Right.
It was the same thing. It was chicken.
Yeah.
It was arrogant. Everything she did was arrogant. You got hit, and rather than do everything that you've been taught, all right, when you get hit, adjust, sit back, think, like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to hit you harder. You can't hit harder than I can. All I got to do is hit you. You're going to break before me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that wasn't the case. But she put that work in, and she came ready.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me, and this goes way back to before you were born, but the Mike Tyson Buster Douglas fight back in 1990 in Japan. Mike Tyson was 24 years old. He had been crushing everyone. Buster Douglas was like a 30-year-old kind of underachiever type of guy who would constantly gas out because he didn't train. And they thought, like, you're right, Mike felt this was a fight against a tomato can. Like they were going to bring this guy in there. Say again?
That's what it was. He hit him. He caught him early. He came out the gate and he got 8-1 early.
Yep.
And he recovered after
right. That. Exactly. So you're right. I do see that. It does seem like Amanda didn't train. Now, here's the question, though. All of a sudden, a lot of people are doubting Amanda, whereas I kind of am with you. I feel like she comes back and takes care of business, possibly easily. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It was crazy. I was gonna put money on Pena too. Whenever I seen the odds, I'm like,
yeah,
bro, it's a fight, bro.
Exactly.
Certain odds, whenever the odds get too crazy, I gotta just start throwing money on it. Because at the end of the day, it's a fight, bro.
Exactly.
It's a fight.
Exactly.
Emotion, if you fought before, then emotions is different. The feelings is different. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen, bro. Anything can happen.
Yep, it's really true. And now, do you think Juliana Pena, could she admit some of what you and me are talking about here is true? Can she, because everyone's got to have an ego. Fighters got to have an ego and confidence. But do you think Juliana Pena or someone in her position could tell herself, okay, I won the title, I deserve it, but I got to be careful in the rematch because I may have just come up on someone who didn't even prepare for this fight? Or do you think she thinks she beats the best Amanda Nunes ever?
Nah, she can't think like that, because if she think like that, she already lost.
Right.
She needs to think like, I'm that bitch who I said I was before this fight. I showed y'all who I am, and I'm going to show y'all fucking again.
Yep.
That's the attitude that she has to have. That's how she has to approach it.
Absolutely. Hey, let me jump on to something else since I was thinking of it. Derek Lewis against Chris Dawkis. Did you expect that fight to go that way?
I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I felt like it could have. You know what I mean? That's a tradition. I mean, how could you not? I mean, how could you be surprised by it? It's traditional Derek Lewis.
Yeah, exactly. Now, let me ask you one thing. In the last few seconds of the fight, when Derek Lewis started rushing in and crowding him and throwing punches, was there something that Chris Dawkis could have done other than throw? Because he isn't.
Absolutely.
What? But he's not a wrestler. What could he? Okay, he needed to start moving. Okay, so
you gotta understand. Because here's the thing: people talk all this lead up into the point. Oh, I understand he's this, and he's that, but I'm this and I'm that.
Right.
Fuck that. More than what you're trying to say, you have to truly understand what you're up against.
Yeah.
You have to truly understand when you're in a certain amount of danger.
Right.
Him sitting there unloading punches. First off, Derek Lewis picks when he throws his punches.
Right.
So if he's throwing them, he's picked that moment to throw them.
Right.
It's a bad situation.
So the thing that the Dawkis possibly wanted to do was just start going sideways on that fence and
Get
get
out
out
of there.
Okay.
Whenever he landed those few shots, whenever he said, all right, you landed those few shots, use those to get the fuck out of there and make him not want to chase you.
Right.
And if he does, make him timid to where, all right, bang, I can land something.
Right.
Like, no, my mind in fighting works in so many different ways. There's so many different setups. Like, people don't understand, bro. Like, you gotta outthink me to beat me.
Right.
That's some hard ass shit to do.
Right.
I mean, I've been playing chess since I was 5 years old.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So my ability to think moves ahead. All right, and if he does this, bro, I'm doing that shit from before we even step in.
Absolutely.
I don't go in with a game plan. I don't have a set game plan.
That's important.
Whenever I go into a fight, it's not like, oh, I got to go in and strike with this dude. Oh, I'm gonna go in. I go in and I take the fight how it goes. I react off of what I see, but I'm ready for everything.
I like that. Speaking of,
the
definitely, I appreciate that, man. Sorry to step on your words. Speaking of that, what percentage of fighters do you think go in not having a game plan, being reactive like you, and what percentage of fighters actually have kind of a strict game plan? Would you say?
I don't look at it like, honestly, true. I don't look at it as me being reactive. I look at it as me being on point. I'm just ready. I'm
Okay.
just ready for everything.
All right. But do you think some
I'm
fighters
so locked in?
Right. Do you think some fighters though are locked into a game plan?
Yeah, I think every one of them are, man.
Okay. So you're
I think so. That's why how sometimes you'll see somebody do something like they'll hit somebody with a good punch or a strike will be working and they don't go back to it.
Right.
They were just feeling in, just going through the motions, bang, throwing a strike because sometimes that's what you do. That's what a fighter looks like and shit like that. He didn't actually, you know what I mean? They weren't actually setting something up to do that. Otherwise, they would have went back to it.
Right.
So many times you see somebody get hit with a clean body shot, and then they never touch the body again. It's all fucking head hunt. Right. Why is it whenever somebody hurts somebody with a body shot, instantly they tee off going to the head every time?
Right, because the game plan was not to go to the body, and they just randomly threw something.
Actually, what caused the opening wasn't the head. It was the body.
Right, but because it's not part of their game plan, they don't go back to it.
If I land somewhere on you clean 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna land somewhere on your body that affects that same area.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, did you see that one of the main card women's fights this past Saturday, Sijara Eubanks got caught with that body kick from Melissa Gatto? That was sweet, wasn't it? And that was like what was it? That was like a front teep kick where she got her toes right into the girl's stomach or something.
The ball of her foot. That's exactly how you're supposed to land. Most people don't land front kicks right.
Right.
They push.
Right.
You look at my kicks, I'm not pushing you, bro. When them bitches hit, they hurt.
Yeah. I like those kicks. Yeah. I like those kicks. No, exactly. And why don't we see more of those front kicks like that, man? Because they're effective.
You don't understand the technique.
Right.
A lot of the techniques that you don't see a lot of, you see people do them and they specialize in them. It's because they specialize in a certain technique, a certain movement, and it speaks to them and shit. And that's why they keep doing it. Very few people, fighters, make themselves learn techniques that are uncomfortable.
That makes sense.
They're not used to. You know what I'm saying? Like most dudes that be like, oh, this guy's a great boxer, but if you really look deep into his boxing skills as an all-around punch for punch, he's only got a good left hand. Conor McGregor's got a lot of tricks. He's only got a good left hand. What does he knock anybody else out with other than the left hand?
Yeah, nothing, pretty much. Makes sense.
All straight lefts.
Makes sense. So
because he has a sharpness to it. He's got a good setup for the lead uppercut. It's a nice little popper. It's a nice little toucher. It ain't taking you out. You know what I'm saying? His jab ain't taking you out. His hooks aren't taking you out.
Right.
They'll rock you. They hurt, but they're not finishing. I can finish somebody with every single punch that I throw.
That's important, having that finishing ability.
Strike that I throw.
Right.
I can throw all the strikes. Jab, cross, hook, everything with both hands, knees, kicks. I can throw them all. I can throw them all effectively and consistently. That's another thing people don't have is consistency. Consistency, be able to do the same thing over and over. If I'm landing a left hand on you, I'm going to be able to land that same left hand all fucking night. If you don't make an adjustment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a different level of understanding and IQ.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have. A lot of dudes are just athletic. They're tough. You know what I mean? They're strong, they're fast, they're freaks. But when it comes to that shit between the ears, a lot of them don't have it.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's one thing from watching the fight game for many, many years and always training myself in different styles is a lot of people don't have the ability to adjust. And in fact, I would almost say it's something that really only the best fighters out there do to be able
I
to
say
do
the
that.
best of all time.
Yeah.
Generational fighters are the only ones. Like,
Yeah.
like let's really go down the line and see how many fighters in the UFC history have been able to be like, all right, fuck, I'm losing this fight this way. Let me go to this, implement this different game plan,
Right.
and do it and win.
Why
It's
do you,
been who?
yeah. Jon Jones, Demetrius Johnson, maybe, even though he's always winning.
We can break that down in a second. But well, yeah, we can say let's go with that. Jon Jones.
Yeah.
Let's go with Jon Jones.
GSP.
Let's go with
right.
Demetrius Johnson. We'll go with Anderson Silva.
Right.
GSP.
Guys like that, pretty much. I can't even think too much other guys, you know.
I'll go Stipe. I'll go Stipe in DC as well.
Right, both of them. Yep. Yeah, why is that? I guess is it just the ability to think that clearly under pressure, or is it just that?
Well, now there's a new one. Now there's a new one. Obviously, he hasn't proven himself on the level of any of, but Cyril Gane.
That's right. That's right.
Cyril Gane is me as a heavyweight.
That's right.
Real shit.
Yep. What do you think?
Cyril Gane is me as a heavyweight.
Yeah, so then let's jump into that real quick. Gane against Francis, and they trained together for a few years because you got Francis from Cameroon, but spent several years in France, and then you got Gane from France. And
wait. Let me real quick. Cyril Gane is me as a heavyweight, just hands just not as sharp.
There we go. I like it. But he's a unique dude. He's a big, strong dude, and very technical.
Special, and I'm a fan, and I enjoy watching.
Yeah, and how does that fight with Francis play out, in your opinion? Him and Gane and Francis.
Very entertaining. I think. I think we either gonna be treated to like a very special show, or it's gonna be the typical Francis. Francis touches him and fuck, damn it.
Right.
He got him again.
Yep.
Francis is just an anomaly, bro. That power is an anomaly, dude. It is. Like, we talk about power. He's got that. He's got true, special, unreal anomaly power.
Yeah. Do you think, just to kind of mix it up against Gane and assuming he still has the welterweight champ?
You gonna say what I think you gonna say?
Right? Is it? Do you think he?
Hell
maybe,
no.
He's
not shoot on that.
He's
man.
okay. He's not gonna do it.
No. He moves too much. He's got a gas tank. He's gonna sprawl. Yeah, you might get him. You might wear him a little bit. But I think Cyril Gane is more composed at holding his gas tank and working his gas tank better than Francis. I don't want to. If it becomes a battle of gas tanks, I think Francis loses that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Gane is really unique. He's a very tricky and frustrating athlete, and against Gane, they know each other well. I mean, I guess
I'm gonna be real, bro.
Yeah,
I actually want to fight. Cyril Gane.
Yeah, that would be a trip because it's similar styles like that.
I truly want to fight. Sir. Like, I'm not in this shit just to be like, oh, I'll try to like beat this guy, fight this guy, be safe, and try to win the title.
Right.
I mean, try to work hard, I'm in this bitch to try to, like, I want to have fun. Yes. I want to enjoy this shit. Yeah. I was going after, I came into this going after Jon Jones because Jon Jones was great. And that challenge of what that meant excites me like I can't explain. You know what I'm saying? I want those challenges. Shit, people talk about like Francis. I mean, maybe one day I move up and Francis is still doing this thing and I fight Francis.
That's
you know what I mean? Just the challenge, bro. The challenge. I truly feel that I'm special, and the only way I can do that and prove that to myself, you know what I mean, but is to go into these challenges.
Absolutely. Assuming you get up there, sorry to step on your words. Assuming you get up to heavyweight, what do you think? What weight do you think your first couple fights at heavyweight might be at? Like 230 or something, 235?
Yeah, somewhere in the 230s.
And do you think you would maybe try to maintain around there, or do you think as the years go by you would get bigger?
I don't know, bro. Because if I'm fighting that heavyweight, I mean, I eat clean, but I'm eating good, bro. I don't. How much do you think I weigh in between fights now?
I'm glad you said that because I was just speculating on that. So, I'm good with numbers, man. In fact, I have a skill. I have one of the worst skills in the world. I can guess women's weight almost right on the nose, and I'm wondering how that's ever going to get me anything but trouble. Right? It never usually works out good. But let me see. Let me guess.
Well, it can work out for you because whatever your initial guess is, trim a little bit off of that.
There we go. Exactly. Exactly. But for men's weight, let me see. And I have an advantage because I know what weight class you fight at. So I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna try to tune in so that I'm within a pound or two here. I'm gonna say that you probably walk around at about I'm gonna say about 228 to 230. No, I'm wrong.
I mean, if I'm relatively staying active and I'm doing something, I'm all right. I can kind of stay around there. Shit, I blow up to around like 240, 245, close to 250.
Oh wow. Okay. So
last fight, if I started, I was close to 250.
Man. All right, so then you could be growing into, you wouldn't have to grow. You could just come in around where you're at.
Where I'm at, just make sure my guys think it's good.
That makes sense. Speaking of which, Jon Jones, man, all this speculation, we know he got in trouble, this and that, but talking about the fighting, I mean, he
can't talk about the fighting because the motherfucker don't fight.
That's true. He's getting into fights, it seems like, outside the octagon. Yeah, I know. It's a shame, man. It's a shame because he's such a talented guy.
More fights with this girl than he had with, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you hear when?
I'm sorry. I know that's fucked up to make that joke or whatever.
I know.
But you know what I mean? But I'm just saying though, bro, like I'm a fan, bro. I want to see him fighting, bro. I want to see him in action. I mean, we only got so much time on this earth, so much time to do what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we getting wasted at that time of that talent.
Yeah, without a doubt. But yeah, he's looking big. It's looking to me.
Yeah.
It looks to me like he wants to come in at 250 plus.
He wants to be the bigger man. Why?
I don't know.
Why?
It doesn't even make any sense, does it?
Why does he need that?
Yeah.
He was the bigger man every time at light heavyweight. To me, that says something.
That's right. He's trying to have the advantage. Yeah. The tough thing is you
need that advantage mentally.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Because
and back to our, hold on, we were talking about skill.
Yeah.
Let's kind of go back to that. And you brought up Jon Jones as far as like all of what dudes that can adjust on the fly. Now that I've thought a little more, I do put Jon Jones in that category. Jon Jones is great because of one, physical attributes, his length and his strength.
Right.
2, IQ.
Right.
Jon is highly intelligent.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And
especially in a fight. Jon is highly intelligent.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I'm not going to sit back here and I'm not going to act like Jon didn't take away from other guys that he was fighting still with illegal moves, like poking motherfuckers in the eye.
Right.
Sticking his hand. There was a lot of times Jon would have 8 shots where he gave them a choice. Either you come in and try to land a shot or I'm going to get poked in the eye.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean, you could try to sit back and try to find something else.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna act like he didn't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then
oblique kicks and like that.
I get it. The knee stomp is part of that, but the knee stomp is still still like that technique is not that technique like the knee stomp that he does, the little kick on the knee.
Yeah.
It's a technique. It's cool. It's effective.
Oblique
but
kick.
It doesn't take any skill.
No.
It's not a skillful move.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
You're basically threatening to blow somebody's knee out.
It's dirty. It's dangerous.
I mean, I have ways that I throw it to where it's actually beating up your leg.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He just throws it to stomp out your knee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where you physically can't come forward after.
Yeah. Yeah. We saw someone win a fight like that about 6 months ago. I forget.
Khalil Round.
Was it Khalil? That's right. And who did he beat? You remember with that?
Some young kid, bro, new guy.
Yeah, and he just and that's dangerous because that could
but I don't know.
But back on that, so you were saying, I don't want to cut your thought off. So with Jon Jones, the stuff he does kind of adds to his ability to improvise and
bro. Just to me, bro, Jon Jones just came in at the right time, bro. He came in at the right time.
Yeah.
It was the right setting. Everything was perfectly set. Shogun was the champion at the time.
Yeah. It's
Don't
true,
wrong, bro. Shogun's a legend, bro. He's tough as fuck, bro. Shogun has never been a skilled fighter.
No. He's just kind of a berserker mode
Shogun
like Vanderlei Silva.
He's never been skilled.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know what I'm
no,
saying?
you're right. And
He's never done anything crisp. He's never done anything clean. He's never done anything sharp.
and
Like
he's a small.
even when he won the belt, it was like, wow, that punch actually did something.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right. And he's a
Like
small for light heavyweight. He was small too.
small as shit, dude.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. That's one thing. And again, not to take away from Jon Jones because he is a sharp guy and a smart guy, but you're right. When he actually jumped in, it was right when MMA was transitioning.
He bullied everybody. He
Right.
didn't even have
Right.
to have skill for real. He was
Exactly.
just so fucking big.
Yep.
And his wrestling problems.
It's true. He had the 3 skill sets which a lot of fighters prior to that did not have. And that's why yeah.
He had the most dominant skill set in the game at the time, which was
right.
Which is wrestling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which honestly wrestling, because what wrestling does is it gets you used to somebody steady trying to take you down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he's not worried about it. So now what does that allow him to do? Same thing with Mackenzie Dern when she first came in.
Right.
Just throw fucking bombs at people.
Right.
Like
right.
you don't even have to set up a shot. You can just throw a crazy ass spinning elbow on somebody.
Right. Because you have no fear of them coming in on you.
He's not because he's throwing those shit because he's not worried about anybody shooting on him.
Right.
Because he's been wrestling for forever. So his stand-up wasn't crisp. He didn't have skills. He had physical attributes.
Right.
He had length. He had the longest reach that we've ever seen.
Right. Without a doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
And the threat of the takedown, which had people backing off him. And he had some jiu-jitsus too, so people didn't want him on top of them. Yeah, I agree. I really do agree. And I think a lot of that started to be exposed in his fights with Dominic Reyes, his fights with Maheta, you know.
Because, OSP.
Yeah, and OSP, yeah.
Because OSP, when you fought OSP, if OSP don't break that forearm, go back and watch that second round. OSP almost knocked him out.
Yeah, it is true. So coming up to heavyweight, he wasn't even a powerful striker at light heavyweight. At heavyweight, he's really not going to be a powerful striker. And so
here's the thing. Well,
what do you think?
Here's where that player. Here's where that can turn. Where that can turn for him is the fact that he's faster than everybody.
Okay.
So he can set up harder shots.
Right.
He can set up and hit somebody harder if you know you got time.
Makes sense. But I think he's going to need to be doing some serious wrestling though at heavyweight, don't you?
Yeah, you see who he's been working with. He's been working with old boy, like one of the best wrestlers of all, one of the most decorated wrestlers of all time.
Right. And that makes sense because in light heavyweight, he really didn't even have to do that. It was just in his back pocket, right? But now it's going to be flipping the script on that, right?
Oh, yeah. Jon Jones going to have some boring-ass fights at heavyweight, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Honestly. Unless stylistically matched up, because other than that, it's just gonna be him clinching motherfuckers up, and trying to beat them up in the clinch.
Right.
Just a little hug him, shoulder shrug, little pop shots to the body. You know what I mean? Try to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That type of shit.
Can he beat some people? Do you think, or might he not even be able to do that?
Yeah, it's fucking Jon Jones.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. Just.
Yes, I think he can beat a lot of people. It's just whenever he starts getting up towards that top. All right, like a Derek Lewis. Like Jon Jones versus Derek Lewis, I wouldn't want to watch that fight. That'd be a boring ass fucking fight.
Right.
Because all Jon Jones is gonna do is just front kick to the leg, front kick to the leg, front kick to the leg, front kick to the body.
And then shoot.
At no point is he gonna go in and look for a finish on Derek Lewis.
No, for sure not. Right.
You know what I mean? He might try to shoot, and then he's not even gonna shoot on it.
No.
You know what I mean? He might. I mean, he will sometimes if he has to, if he gets put in that position. But it's just gonna be Derek Lewis trying to set up the perfect shot, and Jon Jones just not giving it to him from either.
Right.
Legs, pushing his hand, poking his hands out, whatever.
Makes sense. And
you know what I'm saying?
Can he? And do you think will Jon Jones be able to keep his cardio? Because his brothers are big, but then his brothers might be having other substances in their body. Who knows? But his brothers are big. They're carrying around 300 plus pounds. Does that mean that Jon be carrying around a lot of weight, or do you think it's going to take a lot of work and he might not be?
I mean, his brothers are different people. Everybody are different people.
Right. That's true.
So you can't just be like, oh, his brother is like this. So in that sense, I'm not gonna. I can't really comment as far as that goes.
Right.
But I will say this: you don't know until you get in there. You get in there with all that extra muscle, all that extra body, and those emotions hit, that anxiety, that all them thoughts and shit. Yeah, bro. Mental is such a huge part of fighting.
Yeah,
it is. Like man, I've gotten in fights back when I was an amateur. I remember one fight I forgot how to throw a fucking punch.
Right.
Not even gonna lie, dude. I was in the fight and I forgot how to throw a punch.
Wow.
And that, I mean, which
Just,
a lot of people don't know this shit. Back in the day, whenever I used to get worried about something, I just took you down. I just took you down.
nice, nice.
I just took you down.
Just relied on instinct, and and it worked. Like,
I started out in jiu-jitsu.
right.
When I first walked into the gym, my first class was jiu-jitsu.
Nice.
Jiu-jitsu gym.
Nice. Who are some of the guys that helped make you this good a fighter? Who are some of your training partners, if you want to shout them out, and where's that at again, and the name of any coaches?
Training partners, I've had a lot. Hold on, bro.
No problem.
But yeah, as far as training partners, I've had a lot, bro. You know what I mean? I was blessed whenever I first came in. Whenever I first came in, my main training partner was one of my head instructors. It was a small Guatemalan guy named Jorge Surratt.
All right.
A lot of people don't know who Jorge Surratt is, but Jorge is a bad motherfucker, bro.
Nice.
You know what I mean, he used to fuck people. He fought bad. I don't know if you ever heard of Bad News Ben Laden.
I think it sounds familiar.
He was just old king of the fighter, king of the cage fighter. I think he might have fought for WEC.
Right.
Hermes Franca. You remember Hermes Franca?
Very well. I remember Hermes very well. Yeah.
He fought Hermes. Like, bro, he fought some dudes, bro. That was my dude when I walked in, not knowing shit for real.
Nice.
Like that, coming off just a dude that been in a lot, that just knocked a lot of people out in the street.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I used to go with him. I used to go home every day, fucking bruises in my face.
Yeah.
Just beat the fuck up.
Right.
You know what I mean, I was back every day.
Yeah.
My first 8 months of training, I didn't miss a day. I was there 6 days a week.
Nice.
Every day.
Nice. Reminds me of the Marvin Hagler story, the legendary boxer who just passed away.
Run. Ask my coach though. My coach actually put a video about it. Whenever I was on, he put it on YouTube. I used to run 5 miles to the gym. He'd be like, "Yo, what's up, bro? How'd you get? You need a ride back home?" I'd be like, "Nah, I'm good." And I ran home.
Nice. You got a passion for it, man. It seems like you love the grind, huh?
I was just hungry, bro. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be good. Yeah. I wanted to see how good I could be. Martial arts, wanting to learn martial arts and all of that, that all started for me back whenever I was a kid. It all honestly started with 3 ninjas. I just wanted to see if it was possible for a kid to beat up an adult, like how they were.
Wow.
Multiple. Wonder if I could beat up 30 dudes by myself.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so you had the
passion, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say you had the passion from a young man. At what age?
And then I had a brother that fed my passion. My brother, my brother Vince, who passed away, who they talked about before the contingency. He fed my passion for martial arts. Just showing me little tricks, showing me like, "Hey man, check this out, check this scene on this out, check this move." You know what I mean? He gave me like 8 cassette tapes with the whole Dragon Ball Z sagas on it. You know what I mean? Nice. All the shit that I hadn't seen and I wanted to see and stuff. You know what I mean? Just things like that. You know what I mean? I took gems from Dragon Ball Z that I apply to how I approach martial arts now.
I love it. And it's a good brother to have. God bless him. Yeah, man. You got that passion. You're very relaxed and composed in there, man. You're in your element. It's kind of like you could say you were born for this, huh?
Yeah, that's how I got here over all the other sports, man. I'd rather, if I knew, if it was all on me and it's all on my shoulders, I'm with that, bro. I trust myself completely. I believe in myself 1,000%.
Nice. I like it. What's the name of the gym that you train at? And are you staying at one or are you going around to different gyms?
I'm at my gym is Black Lion Academy. You got it blacked out right there.
Nice. And where's that? Outside Grand Rapids, right?
Yeah, it's just on the outskirts of Grand Rapids.
Right. So if
I also I've been cross. This last camp I did a little cross training. I went down to Sanford. Got some work in with the legendary Henry Hu.
Yeah, man, that's a serious team over there, man. Wow.
They got a lot of good guys down there, bro, and they, you know what I mean? They welcomed me in. They treated me like a brother and shit, and I bonded with some of those guys in the little time that I was down there, and I learned some things. Like, they showed me some things. I got good work in with them, nice. So I definitely plan on going back.
Nice. Who are some of the big guys there in the UFC out of Sanford? My mind is escaping me now. Can you remember some of the big guys you saw there out of Sanford?
That I saw there. I know Usman was there. Chandler was there. Sandhagen was there.
Nice.
Any
guys your size that anyone's heard of over there?
Bobby Lawler was there. They got some bigger guys there that fight that aren't in the UFC. Well, a couple of them are, but they haven't. But they're not like they haven't been on the big stage really
Right.
for long or stuff like that.
You ever
They
have
got some good guys.
no,
The best work that I got was they had. I keep forgetting. I feel so bad because bro, this dude, my man was so nice to me.
right.
He took me he took care of me the whole time I was down there, bro. He made me feel more welcome than anybody. What's the middleweight champion's name for one championship?
Oh, damn. Oh man.
Didn't how to pronounce my guy's
Oh
name,
wait,
bro.
is it the white guy from Holland or is it
No,
that
he's not white.
not Rainer de Ritter? So
I believe he's Thai.
oh man, the middleweight because
Faye or something. I forgot.
not Tan Lee, no, because Tan Lee lost, and then Christian Lee was welterweight. Yeah.
Now, tell one of the producers to pull him up.
Can you guys,
I
anybody
don't
here
know my IG.
find really quick the one championship middleweight champion? See if anyone can pull that up. One championship middleweight champion.
I don't know, man, bro. I'm so fucking mad. I keep forgetting, bro, how to say bro's name.
We're gonna get it here. We're gonna figure out. So now he brought you out there and was real nice, and then what happened? You had to take it to him in the training, or what were you gonna say?
No, bro. No, I don't take it to people in training, bro. I
Cool.
just try to get work in,
All
try
right.
to learn things. You know what I mean? I don't have nothing to prove, especially in the gym.
No.
You know what I mean? That's why
Good.
you've never seen sparring footage of me. You know what I mean? I don't record while I'm sparring because I don't want no ego to be involved, bro. I don't want you to feel like I'm showing you up. I want you to give me work, and I want to learn, and I want you to learn.
Right, that makes sense. You know what? It turns out you might be thinking of a different division at one because the middleweight and the light heavyweight champion, both belts being held by that guy Rainer de Ritter, the white guy from Holland. So maybe could it be one weight division below that? Because their welter, I think, is middle. Who's the welterweight champion, Adam? If you could take a look, go back there real quick. Welterweight champion at one. I bet you that's who it's going to be. Adam?
Kiamrian Abasov?
Cameron Abasov. Does that make sense to you, possibly?
That ain't it.
All right.
I gotta pull this man
But
up. I gotta know.
but anyway, it's someone good. So you got good training with him, and
Yeah, I got good ass work in with him, bro.
Nice.
Him and then Ian Gary.
Ian Gary, right on, definitely.
That kid is fucking good, bro.
Good, skillful fighter.
I was trying to tell people before his debut. I'm like, bro, this kid, your boy can fight.
Yep, he proved that. Did you do any talking or any training with Usman over there?
I chopped it up with Usman. He was cool, but Usman's a 170er though. They
That's
kinda
right.
mix it up.
You know what
One
those?
guy.
Sorry to step on your words, man.
So is Ian though, because which was crazy.
All right.
Like, whenever he first walked up, I'm looking, I'm like, oh, he's short. It wasn't until after we sparred and I actually took a look at this kid. I'm like, this dude fights 170?
Right.
6'3".
Wow, that's crazy.
Like, I didn't realize how long and how big he was until he actually started throwing strikes and throwing them from a certain distance.
Right.
Landing.
Right. It's crazy. Yeah, he's long as hell. You know who I was just thinking of? How about Usman's brother? Did you see him out there? Because he's like a light heavyweight or heavyweight, right?
I think I did see him, actually.
He's a strong guy, but he doesn't quite have the skills. What's that? I didn't hear you.
He was training at the time.
But, I wonder if he'll ever be in the UFC. It's funny how you rarely see someone and their brother making it, man. It's always like one brother is always way better than the other brother. You ever notice that? Except for maybe the Diaz brothers. But it seems like it's hard to happen, even though you have like almost identical genetics.
Bro, bro. You said it's like one's way better than the other. I mean, if we looking at it, we compare them in their primes. I say prime Nick is much better than prime Nate.
Right. I agree. But at least they were both.
Nick was actually winning.
Yeah.
Nate's kind of been a roller coaster his whole career.
That's true. Although
Nick had some time where he was dominant.
He did. One of the things, though, I can say about Nate, and I'm not trying to defend him because, I have nothing against him. He's never been my favorite fighter. But, no, you're right. No, I know you're not attacking him. But one of the things that Nate had the unfortunate thing to deal with was his weight. Nick was like a solid – he at first was like a solid lightweight, and then he became a solid welterweight. Nate just was even like a smaller frame dude than Nick. Right. And so it became too hard for him to make lightweight, but he was small at welterweight. So I'm not trying to make an excuse for him, but that was always something working a little bit against him that it didn't work against Nick. But still, even if that wasn't the case, Nick still might have been better, But anyway, man, so much action going on, Jamal, and I really want to thank you for jumping on, man. What's the best social media place for people to support you? And if you want to throw out anything you're involved in or any T-shirts or any sponsors, feel free to throw that out.
Man, you can always keep up with what I'm doing. I usually post, and I'm pretty active on Instagram. My handle is sweet_dreams_J Hill.
Gotcha. Looks like the screen froze. Jamal, you still there with me?
Doesn't look like it.
Jamal, sorry if I lost you, Jamal. Your battery might have been done, but we really appreciate you, man. If you want to jump back in, we'll be free here without another guest for another 10 minutes. But if there we go. Can you hear me, Jamal? You froze up there. But so give me the sweet dreams again. Sweet dreams. And
sweet_dreams_J Hill. Then on Twitter, I'm Jamal H. If you want to cop some of my Sweet Dreams gear, Sweet Dreams Nation gear, Touch 'em Up University gear, another one of my lines. You can find that at sweetdreams.co. We got stuff on there. Appreciate the support and everything like that. I want to give a shout out to my sponsors over at Lizard Lick Apparel and Next Day Construction. Always having my back, making sure I got what I need to keep on evolving and taking care of myself. Yeah, man, there's a lot of people. Sweet Dreams Nation, man. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate anybody that take time out to watch me and support me. Oh, also, I want to give a special shout out to the 35th aerial. The 35th Aerial Auxiliary Defense Dragon Brigade over in South Korea. It's a very special unit close to me. My cousin is a sergeant over in that unit. These guys been over there for a long time. You know, they miss it home, and it's the holiday season. So if anybody can give some love out to our servicemen, you know, for the things that they do, I appreciate that, and I'm sure they do as well.
Absolutely, and I'm with you 100%. Support our servicemen. God bless them, and thank them, servicemen and women out there protecting us and helping keeping our country safe. God bless them. Your cousin out there. Well, Jamal, I really appreciate you, man. You're a unique guy. You give a great interview. You're always real, and we've learned a lot about you and a lot of interesting things about the psyche of a fighter, and that just helps our show and makes us look good. And the fact that you jump on shortly after a win, I really want to thank you, man. I really appreciate your time.
No problem. I appreciate you reaching out, having me on. It was a good talk.
I appreciate it. Well, you got it. We'll talk again soon, my friend. You keep up the good work. Take good care of yourself. Have a very happy holidays and a happy new year.
You too. Thank you.
You got it. And that was Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill over there in Michigan, representing the Midwest, originally from Chicago, now fighting in my home state of Michigan out there in Grand Rapids. And, man.
All these good Midwest
dude.
fighters, right?
Yeah. The Midwest dudes are out there grinding in the freezing
I'm looking
cold weather.
at the screen of us right now. It's pretty.
Are you invisible? You look invisible, Doctor.
Well, it looks like you're up there 3 times, but that's like a glitch on the other software.
There we go. Oh, look who it is.
I can see myself.
It's Dr. Roorda. What, Doc, where were you? Were you in the
I'm a good-looking dude.
Man, you are. You look amazing, man. I got to lose a little bit of weight here, but we already knew that.
I need to gain weight.
There we go. I got to give some of mine to you. We're going to do it, though. Both you guys got to know that in the next several months going into the new year, Dr. Roorda and I are going to kill it. I'll be getting down 10 pounds lean.
Oh, and I'm putting on that weight.
And he's going to put on some muscle, man. We're going to kill it. People are going to see Colin, Crandall, and Roorda 2.0 in the year of 2022. So
2022.
That's it, man. It's going to be fantastic. So we are only about 6 minutes away from our next guest. As soon as we see him,
well, let's shoot the shot.
Let's do it. Shoot the shit a little bit.
Well, yeah, you're going to go ahead and say it's just free for all with Colin now. Drop the F-bomb, drop poo all over the stage.
That's
it,
man. You got to get a little hot steaming.
Make sure to follow us on MMA Power Hour social media. It's just at MMA Power Hour. Check us out. And when you get a chance, also head on over to lithtoken.io. It is cryptocurrency I'm working on and pretty fun stuff with trying to hold businesses and people accountable to sustainability and ethics.
That's it.
And it's fun in crypto world. I can tell you that.
I can imagine. And then it's nifty, and you got the Nifty Kitty NFT, don't you? No more Nifty Kitty.
It's Liddy Kitty.
Liddy Kitty.
Now there's also another Liddy Kitty, which was a crypto kitty.
Okay.
So it's a different one.
Okay.
It's not the same.
So Liddy Kitty, he's lit, man. As they
That's
would
it.
say.
He's lit.
He's
yeah.
lit. I love that.
That's our cat with a top hat and a monocle.
I like that. That's a good look for a cat.
Right,
They, they usually have that one eye that's a little weaker than the other. I don't know.
Yeah, that was our first NFT. We minted it a couple weeks ago, and we sold it almost right away. It was pretty cool.
I like that. Now Derek Lewis, after he won his last fight against Chris Dawkis, he became the first man to reach into his trunks and pull out his cup, and then he threw it out in the audience. And I was thinking, I don't know how many people are going to be putting their hands up for that, although one guy, I guess, did. But people are thinking money. Nothing strange. People are thinking money. So the guy caught it, and then
well, that on its own is an NFT.
That's what I was going to say. Michael Bisping asked him what was up with that, with throwing your cup out there, and he said, NFT, things that could be an NFT. Yeah. I don't know.
Makes sense.
How does that work? I mean, not that we want to spend too much time on that, but
it's a collectible moment.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
So an NFT, that's short for nifty, right?
No,
I didn't think so.
NFT is short for non-fungible token.
Non-fungible token, man, those are amazing. It's
You don't even know what it is.
No, I don't. But I remember. I can tell you what. Through my life, walking down the street, so many times I've come across non-fungible tokens, which means you think you're grabbing up a quarter and it's like a piece of metal off of a car that just scraped off on the side of the road. But those non-fungible tokens never seem to have a lot of value.
That's not true.
Like a piece of gum on a piece of wood or
That's
something.
not true. Non-fungible tokens have.
Well, these are the old ones. When you came across non-fungible tokens on the ground in the 80s, I'm talking about. Those didn't have a lot of work.
No.
But now they do.
Probably not. Totally different technology.
Very different. That was like crap that you thought was a coin. Those are the non-fungible tokens in the 80s. Did you guys know that?
With NFTs now, you have the whole right-click theft thing that a lot of people are bringing a lot of scrutiny.
That's not good.
Yeah.
You mean with a right click you can steal someone's nifty?
Pretty much.
That's not good.
Pretty much.
Now, you guys aren't right-clicking anyone to steal any NFTs, are you over there? No, Armand for sure not. Harrison.
I mean, I right-clicked my own.
But that was creating it. You could right-click and create it, or did you right-click and steal it from someone else?
I stole it from the person I sold it to.
Oh, well, there we go. Wait a second. You mean you stole it from the person you sold it to? So wait. So
I already had the document. I just did it for fun.
Okay.
No, it's not going out anywhere. I already had the document, but no, they actually own. The funny thing with that is you aren't actually stealing the NFT itself.
No.
So the person that actually owns it is it's stuck on the blockchain.
I see.
So you can't really steal it, but there's a whole thing about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who think you can just say, "Oh, it's stolen" because it's right-click saved.
But it really isn't.
No.
Safe on that.
It's not the same thing.
No. Well, it's good to know. Now, are any of you guys stuck on the blockchain anywhere, or? No, they're not. No,
I'm stuck all over the blockchain.
He's stuck all over. So it may not be a bad thing, but then being stuck, we don't usually assume being stuck is in a good position. But I guess if it's the blockchain, how about this? You could say this could be a profile for like Tinder. Nifty guy stuck on the blockchain, trying to be sustainable in this crazy pandemic world. How about that? That would catch the eye of an interesting, unique woman, wouldn't it?
A unique woman.
Yeah, right. She'd have to, because it'd be someone that had to be involved in all that stuff, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Although, what would she look like? Probably the bottom of my shoe. No disrespect to that.
Wow.
There,
But we're getting in trouble now.
God bless, man. God bless America, baby. What? Okay, so man, oh man, can Hawaii get sticky?
I had to
throw that in. Hot time in Georgia, rainy night in Florida, as Elvis would say. A lot of people that are Elvis's fans are sitting here thinking, well, wait, I've been an Elvis fan for years. I don't remember those sayings. Well, he didn't say those things all the time, but it was in This Is Elvis and maybe one other situation. So I would never say anything that the king didn't say.
He just says it all the time. Colin does.
Yeah, but no, Elvis said it. It's just
You're not Elvis.
No, I'm not. But
he might be the king of something.
I could be. Well, you know what? I think I may be.
He's digging.
I don't know what the hell it is. You threw me.
Where's
a curve
the
on
punchline?
The punchline is gonna be boom as I knock myself out. No, I'm not Elvis, but some people do feel he's alive somewhere, and I think it was he was in Kalamazoo, Michigan, the last time the media answered it, and then But anyway,
I wouldn't know.
Anyway, who knows what's going on? But we should be seeing our next guest shortly in there. Hopefully he's not texting me anything with my phone out in the car. That's one of the things you guys know. When you get one of those good things to hold your phone in it, sometimes you leave it in that, and that's starting to really annoy me. I run up to my apartment. I got everything, and I'm like, "Where's my phone?" And I got there. It's almost like if it's in that holder, you'll leave it there. Anyway, there is Josh Emmett. Josh, can you hear me? Probably he will be able to any second as soon as we get the nifty technology working here, right?
Yep.
Josh Emmett, can you hear me? All right. He will be able to probably any second. We got all kinds of stuff. He's about to say something there.
Yeah, we can't hear you quite yet, Josh, but we'll be able to in a second.
All right, we'll be able to hear you.
There we go.
Can you now?
Yep, we got you. Josh Emmett, so good to see you. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Sorry for hopping on late. I was some last minute Christmas shopping, so
Not a problem.
just leaving the mall. I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. So happy to have you there. Let me give you a proper introduction as we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, so happy to have this guest on the show. We spoke to him a few times in the past, several times in the past, and I'm so grateful to have him back for the first time on Zoom. It was always Skype before, but we're so happy to have you back on. We are talking about top 10, and the man should be top 5. We're going to maybe find out in a second. UFC featherweight contender Josh Emmett. Have they disclosed what number is next to your name right now?
Yeah, I think I took my number 6 spot back. I was ranked number 6, and then they put Arnold Allen in front of me, and then after the win, on the 11th, I took my number 6 spot back. So didn't really move up much. I knew I wouldn't, but that's okay. Rankings don't mean anything to me.
No, exactly. And I will say this, and I've said it on this show many times, that despite all the love that lightweight gets, I feel that featherweight is the most stacked division. You know, it's like you said, you got yourself, you got Arnold Allen, you got Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, Javier Rodriguez, Yair Rodriguez. Sorry, my mind's getting faded here this hour. Yair Rodriguez, right? The Korean Zombie, Zabit Megamed Sharapov, Calvin Kattar, Dan Ige. I mean, this is, I think you'd probably agree, even if you weren't in the featherweight division, if you weren't Josh Emmett, wouldn't you think the featherweight is probably one of the most stacked, if not stacked, divisions out there?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think it's always like the average, I guess you could say male size or whatnot. It's
right.
Like I think the featherweights and the lightweights are the most stacked divisions in the entire UFC, and it's kind of hard to, the lightweights, there's like, maybe top 10, top 15, but I'm telling you, the featherweights, they go on and on. It's just down the list, it is so stacked, and at any moment anyone could compete or fight or win a fight in the top 5, you know what I mean, on any given day if they show up on their best, they show up with their best performance.
Absolutely I agree 100%. So Dan Ige fight, looking at that fight, I think that you probably knew going into this fight that this was a guy that was going to be tough. I don't know if you tend to think to yourself, I can take out anyone, and you want to keep that mindset, or if you go into a fight saying, I'm probably not going to take this guy out. What is your concept on that? Because you're known to be a guy that can take anyone out. Do you like to think about that and assume you can? Do you not think about that at all? Or are there some fighters where you say, I probably am not going to take this guy out? What do you think? Or stop this guy?
No, there's no one that I say I'm not going to take him out. I feel like I possess a different type of power, and it doesn't matter, featherweight, lightweight, whoever they are. If I land a clean shot, I'll put anyone down, even given their their weight. But I know Dan Ige, he's super tough dude. He was undefeated, or not undefeated. He was never finished. So really durable guy. And I fought a lot of guys that have never been knocked out, and I was the one to be the first one to knock them out. So I was going in there to, try to finish him. But I almost got him out of there in the first round, but he recovered so fast. And, I was pretty surprised by that. But at the end of the day, I'm going in there to win. Whatever I have to do, I'm going to get my hand raised. And, I just played it kind of safe in that fight. You know, he was throwing hard. We both respected each other's power, and I was more cautious of the takedown. You know, I knew he would want to get in there and grapple me and get me to the ground. So I think that's kind of why I wasn't just, you know, pushing forward and being as aggressive as I typically do, because that's when, you know, if he changed levels and shot a double leg when I was overcommitting, that's when he would get me down. And you saw it in the fight. He shot multiple takedowns. So I just had to play it safe.
Yeah. Do you think he wanted to make it a jiu-jitsu match, a grappling match?
Yeah, no, I like, it's hard because you see where a lot of his fights, and he's so well rounded. But he is a BJJ black belt. He wrestled D3. And I think, you know, I have the advantage on the feet with landing a big strike. Where I think he did want to make it a grappling match, you know, or mix things up at least. And you know, that's why it was a little different, the fight, how it played out than he thought, than I thought, than the fans thought. But it was still, you know, I watched the fight, and it was still a good fight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know anyone complaining about that being a dull fight or anything. Knowing what you know now on how it played out, would you have changed anything if you could, looking back on it?
Yeah, maybe just I would have tried to be a little more active. I went back, I watched the fight, and I'm always my toughest critic.
Right.
And so I was just watching it, and I was like, oh man, I should have done this, should have done that. But you know, it is what it is. I needed to go in there. I needed to get a win. And I went in after 18 months of not fighting at all, and, you know, beat a tough Dan Ige. And he's been active the whole time, fighting some of the best guys in the world. He's coming off 2 big main event slots. And, yeah, it was relatively, like, when I look at it and how I feel, like, I feel great. You know, I'm not injured at all. You know, of course, in a fight, you're going to feel a little banged up and, you know, bruised a little bit, but I'll be back in practice. I'm actually going to start hitting with my boxing coach tomorrow. So I just took, you know, a week off, and then I'm going to get back to practice here tomorrow. And, yeah, just kind of take it from there. But it was relatively, you know, not that tough of a fight.
Right, which is amazing because a lot of Ige's fights, people get smashed up, you know, pretty badly. Was this the first fight recovering from surgery for you, or was that the previous fight?
Yeah,
it was.
No, the Burgos fight was when I actually tore my ACL, and this is the first fight back in 18 months. So I didn't do, you know, it was just, I don't know, like I don't believe in ring rust, you know, because I'm so prepared and everything. But
right.
Yeah, I played it safe in practice and everything, just so I could get to the fight. And, you know, and then I fought, and, you know, that built the confidence in my knee. I know my knee is super strong. My knee is great,
right.
But you still have that, you know, in the back of your head. And then after he started kicking me in the leg, and that was the first time I'd been kicked in the leg for 18 months.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, my leg is strong. It can hold up. And so I'm glad I didn't get the finish in that first round, because it would have been like a minute into the first round. Then I still would have had, you know, those thoughts in the back of my mind, like, oh, is my knee 100%? Is it strong going into my next fight? But I went in there for 15 minutes with a tough Dan Ige. We did a little bit of grappling. He was kicking that leg, and yeah, it worked out well. So I'm back to 100%. I'm back to, I'm ready to get back to training and do it again.
Absolutely, and it makes sense. Like the fact that he had been fighting a lot, you had 18 months off, and it was your first fight back. It really makes sense, actually, the way you did fight. It really does. You know, I was actually thinking, I wonder if odds makers or people that are really gambling focused. I mean, I talk about it. I'm aware of it. Years back, I was a professional sports gambler for a brief time, and on occasion I'll do it, but I'll always put out my picks. But I wonder if people setting the odds or people that want to bet will look at a situation where they'll say this fighter's been off from a surgery for a year and a half, and possibly try to fade that fighter. Now, if they did against you, they would have lost their money. But I think it is really a real thing that in the first fight back for a fighter, they're going to maybe want to be a little bit smarter. And it doesn't mean they're going to lose, but it definitely means that you're not quite 100% as comfortable as you used to be, or as you probably will be in your next fight. Do you think Dan Ige and his camp were thinking about that at all? Do you think they might have thought that might have been also partly why they would have liked to have gotten it to the ground? Because they might have figured, going there, taking you down hard, maybe injuring your leg a little bit, which maybe they would think may not be healed, and causing you to be tentative might have been part of the game plan?
No, I don't think they were so concerned about, trying to hurt me just because I know he's not, he's a good guy. He's not like in that way, but I knew they would target my leg. I know their camp is big with calf kicks and stuff like that. I knew people were going to try to, kick that knee and kick that calf, which they did. But yeah, as far as odds come into play, I'm not sure. But if you look at a lot of my fights and stuff like that, I've had all these wins. I have some type of injury or setback, and I take a year off or a year and a half off, and I typically come back stronger than when I left off. So people looking in, if they did their homework and their research, then they would see that as well. I was surprised that I opened up as such a big favorite.
Yeah.
And then obviously the line started to move because everyone was betting on Ige and stuff like that because he was a big underdog. And then it kind of, I think he finished it like a plus 125 or something.
It was really close to the end. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty almost like a pick 'em, but even like you're saying. So yeah, I'm usually the underdog by a long shot. So that's always nice because I have a lot of people that make a lot of money on me.
Right.
And I was really hoping that I would have been an underdog for this one as well. I had some friends. One of my friends bet 20 grand on me. And so he made a nice little payday. I wish I was underdog. He would have made a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. When it came time for the decision, and you knew it was a good fight, you knew maybe you were a little bit less aggressive than you normally are. Did you have any fear about what the decision was going to be, or what was your thought? And do you normally think about anything when you're waiting the few minutes for the decision to be announced?
Yeah, no, and I'm always like, I'm a cerebral fighter. I'm always thinking. I'm talking to my coaches in the corner. I'm like super calm. So it's like, I know I won the first round. I know the second round was close. I was like, okay, we'll just give it to him. And then my coaches are like, just be more active in this one. Stop trying to knock him out, box him a little. So I just came out and I was just more active. I had for a lot of times I had a lot of octagon control. I was in the center, a lot of movement. If you watch the fight, again, he's not really hitting me much. So I moved a lot more in the third instead of just kind of staying complacent in the second. When I landed big shots, I knew he felt them. And so I don't know. I knew after the fight was up, I was like, I told him I won 1 and 3. We'll give him 2 just to be safe. And that's exactly what the judges had on their scorecards. 2 of the judges gave me 2 rounds and him 1. And then one of them gave me 30-27, which I see a lot of people, saying things about that. But it's like, if you go back and watch the second round, it's still, it's still like it's just a close round. It's coin flips, it just depends on who you're in favor of or who's your guy, who you're rooting for. Then of course you're going to lean towards that person.
Absolutely. Well, did Dominic Cruz fight on that same card, or was it the one after?
Yeah, he fought right before me. I think he fought right before I did. Him and Munoz.
And talk about an example like yourself coming back from injuries, man. That guy's had 4 or 5 knee surgeries. It's funny though. He's like a long time. Yeah. He's a long time adversary of your team. I was just realizing, But I think him and Uriah kind of came to a peaceful relationship, didn't they? Or does Alpha Male still hate that guy?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's like some of the individuals, they have their little rivalries with him. I actually talked to him after my post-fight interview with the media, the little press conference. And I quoted him too, because I was saying how Dominic Cruz says there's no such thing as ring rust. And man, I've always liked the guy, and we talked after too. And he was just, he was talking about my knee, and he's like, I know, he knows, like, just what you were saying. He knows what it's like to come back from something like that. He said, I did a great job. Just keep doing what I'm doing. And stuff. And, we're cordial, and he's always sticking up for me, even in the commentating, when people are not biased towards me, but kind of talking more about the other guy, then he'll kind of stick up for me commentating team. So it's kind of cool, but I like the guy.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, he's a unique dude. I think he always has had a little bit of a heel personality, but he seems like a decent dude. I remember back in the WEC watching, as I did, I watched both of his fights with Uriah, and I remember in one of his early fights, they interviewed him, and he said he lives in an apartment with 2 cats who are his best friends. And I remember thinking, I kind of like that, man. It's just like a real dude, coming off. He's got his cats and he's just chilling at home. And I thought, how bad can a guy be if he's got 2 animals that he's taking care of that are his best friends? Right? So I always thought, but man, how he keeps coming back, man. And like in that fight, because Munoz was a tough guy. Munoz really wanted that win. I think Munoz had just lost to Aldo, and I think it was a really quick turnaround. They're doing a lot of this stuff in the pandemic. I mean, it's like sometimes a little crazy where I think they're not even giving a guy a chance to heal up. But Munoz, I think, was a slight favorite there, and Dom just did his thing, man. He's just like, his style is so weird where he's got the side-to-side movement, and then he'll feint. He'll keep on feinting. And he does that weird thing where like almost sticks his head out and pulls it back. And I remember someone saying that he would spend a couple hours just moving in a gym himself, and people would look and say, what the hell is that guy doing? Yeah, they'd be like, why is he alone just moving? And they're like, because he's really he really wants to have unique movement that's hard for people to get. And it seems like it's paid off. It's just a unique style, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a one of a kind, and he moves so well, and he has such a high output too. He doesn't stop throwing, and then he's really good with, he'll take someone down, he'll dump them, or he'll get into a clinch, and he's always breaking off the clinch. So he has a unique style, and I think one of the best. And it's cool to see that he's been around since the WEC days. He was the champion, and he's still doing really well as he's getting older in the sport. It just gives, not that it gives me hope, because I think we're around the same age, but right. I got into it a lot later, so he has a lot more like wear and tear on his body.
Right.
But it's just cool. Like I'm always rooting for the older guys. I'm always rooting for anyone with coming off the injuries and stuff like that as well.
Me too. You must have been happy when Glover Teixeira won the title a couple months back.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Was awesome.
I had a feeling he could. I actually think I bet $25 on him. I don't tend to bet much, but I just felt that he had the skill set to beat Jan. Did you feel that going in, or was that a toss-up fight for you?
Man, it was tough. Like going into it, I was like, okay, if Jan catches, like, he has the power, he has the advantage on the feet, his striking. But Glover, it's like, if he can just stay in the fight and maybe it goes a few rounds, or I'm like, he gets him against the cage and dirty boxes him and then gets him down, then I'm like, it's a wrap, And of course, Glover Teixeira, he's been around for so long, fought for the title a long time ago, didn't get it. And it was cool just to see him back there. And then I was like, even though Blachowicz is such a good guy and a great champion and stuff, it's hard to root against him. But I just wanted it for Teixeira, because he's been he's a pioneer of the sport, a legend, and it's really neat to see him just get the job done and accomplish. He's accomplished everything in the sport, and now he's accomplished literally everything. So it's like he can defend it as long as he wants, or he can go out whenever he wants, and he did everything in the sport.
Absolutely. At 42 years old, it was amazing. Back to Dominic Cruz real quick. What would be a great next fight for him? I'm thinking a fight with Jose Aldo would be a really unique one. What do you think?
Yeah, I've seen people trying to match them up as well, and they want to see that. It's like, it's two legends in the sport. It would definitely be an exciting fight and a technical fight. Yeah, it would be cool too, because, just to see those guys fight. And it would be tough too, because like you said, Dominic Lee uses so much movement, and yeah, he would just mix a little bit of everything up. But Aldo has that great boxing. If he could bring those leg kicks back, it would definitely be an exciting fight for the fans. I'm sure who wouldn't want to see that, so I agree with you. That would be we'll see if the matchmakers can pull that together.
Exactly. Talking about featherweight, so much interesting stuff going on there. Were you surprised to see Yair do so well against Max Holloway a couple months ago? I wasn't. I told people at like plus 500 or plus 600. I told people don't put your paycheck on there, but put like $20 on him or $40 on him. And he looked like, that looked like an even fight in there. Max did win, but I knew that. I really felt that would be close. Did you, or did you think Max would win it easier?
No, I thought, Yair, he's good, man. Like he's young. He's took some time off. He's been working more on his wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and his striking is great. You know what I mean? He's fast and explosive. And yeah, that was a crazy fight, back and forth. There was multiple times where it's like, I thought Yair was going to catch him, and then Max would catch him. And it was back and forth for 5 rounds. And like, man, I after those guys were all done fighting, it's like, how his foot was messed up. They're all banged up. I was like, shit, I wonder how long he's going to take off after that. You know what I mean?
I was just going to say that, because people that have trained a little bit understand a little bit what it's like to maybe be kicked in the ribs and punched in the face maybe a couple times. But people like yourself really know what it feels like. Like when you watch a fight like that, you can probably feel like what those shots probably feel like. I mean, those guys. When do you start feeling it after the fight? A couple hours later, or the next morning? When do you feel like literally all those shots, like someone just dropped you on the cement and dragged you, a couple hundred?
It's kind of right after. It's like a lot of times I've had some fights where I'm walking out of the cage, and it's like I think both my feet are broken, and then in the back, it's like after you sit down for a while and you get up. But it's really the next morning is the worst for me. Like I start to feel things as the night goes on, but it's the next morning. It's like I'm just laying in bed, and I'm just like even this one, I was sore for a week or so, and it wasn't even a crazy fight. But I think about like the Burgos fight, and not only did I tear my ACL and have all those other crazy injuries in my knee, but my whole body was just banged up, like literally from my toe to my head and all my limbs, my knuckles, like my neck, everything. It literally feels like I was in a car and they just like dropped me off a cliff and I'm just rolling down the hill. And it lasts for so long. And I think I have so much like inflammation and pain in my body, but other areas hurt so bad. But when those areas start to subside and go down a little, then I start to feel it's like things shift. But it's like, I think those were there the whole time, but they just weren't as prevalent because I'm so focused on something that hurts so much more. It's just a weird thing. And then it's like, we're in this pain and all this stuff. But then it's like, once that kind of goes away, it's like, damn, I want to hop back in and do it again. It's like.
Absolutely. When you're having a lot of injuries after a fight, do you eat like more protein after that, or more carbs, or is there something that you can do medically? Obviously, I'm sure some people are taking pain relievers. Do muscle relaxants come in? Are you getting a massage maybe every other day, or taking a bath, or is there anything that would be unique for people to know that maybe fighters might do after a really hard fight for that week or 2 weeks to try to help the healing?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, you have to do everything like recovery related. So it's like, go get a massage, stretch, do some cold plunges, do Epsom salt, soak baths, drink a lot of water. But it's almost like I do that, but I eat so clean up to a fight. And then it's like, afterwards I'm like probably eating everything I shouldn't, you know what I mean? I'm like having all this sodium and sugar and things like that, and I just feel puffy and gross, but it's like I do it anyways. But yeah, I just take some time off, and Um, you know, if something's really bad, then I'll just take some Advil or anti-inflammatories for, a few days. And then, like I said, do the cold plunge, do the Epsom soak baths, and just kind of relax, try to stay off like the phone, like all the blue light stuff. So not watching much TV, staying off the phone, just so, because it can kind of affect your head as well, if you're having headaches or anything. So I try to do that and just kind of enjoy family and friends, and just kind of relax with my wife. And then when I start to feel better, I'll get back to training.
That makes sense. Well, we got 5 minutes left with you, Josh. I want to talk about the featherweight division. So it looks like Volkanovski is going to get Max again. Has that been confirmed that you've heard, or still in the works?
See, I'm not too sure, but I want to say they're fighting March 5th. Like what I thought I saw something, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought they were fighting March 5th.
Okay, I think you could be right. So other than that, Brian Ortega with a loss, I think, moves behind you guys. So other than Max, you're up there. Who's ahead of you? Who's ahead of you then? Is Yair still there? Or is it
Yeah, I'm not sure with that too. His loss, like the only person that's in front of me coming off a win is and that's not booked, is Korean Zombie, so it's like that would be awesome to fight Korean Zombie in a title eliminator, and then the winner gets the winner of the trilogy fight.
That would be really cool. That would be a really unique fight. I'm sure you've been aware of the Zombie for quite a long time. What I know that like Zabit before he got hurt was up there, and any word about him? Is he still out, or is he back in the mix?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know. Because when's his last fight? His last fight was like 2.5 years ago or something.
It was.
I'm not sure. I thought he had something going on where he needed surgery that I read out. I read something a few years ago, but I have no idea if he's going to fight even again.
Right.
I don't know.
I sure hope so, because he's a unique dude. I remember a lot of people would say that Abraham Lincoln guy. Because doesn't he look a little bit like our President Lincoln, from Dagestan, if he was from Dagestan, you know what I mean? But no, he's a unique dude. So then Giga Chikadze just had that good win over Barbosa and a couple other guys, but he's ranked behind you. But he's an interesting contender, training over there with Beneil Dariush and the guys over at Kings. So if it was Korean Zombie, I know you'd be happy. Who else? Because I know you're not wanting to fight someone 5 or 8 spots behind you, but who would be reasonable for you? Calvin Kattar or no? Or would Giga be reasonable?
No, because I think Giga and Calvin Kattar are fighting soon. So there's no one available in front of me. Like I really want a title eliminator. I fought everybody behind me, and I'm like one of the only guys that they only offer me fights behind me. Everyone else, they're not even ranked in the top 15, and then they get a fight in the top 10, and then they're fighting someone in the top 5. I'm like,
it's not right.
I don't really get it. So I will not fight anyone. I do not want to fight anyone behind me.
Right.
I want my next fight to be a title eliminator, and there's only one guy coming off a win that's available, and I would love to fight him.
Right, because otherwise, coming off a loss is Ortega, but would they still have him ahead of you?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably they'll probably because he fought Max a long time ago. Then he was ranked, I think 2 for a year. The time he was off,
right,
for the year and a half he was off, then came back, beat Zombie, and then he lost. Who did he lose to? Oh, Volkanovski.
That's right.
And then he's still ranked right there. So yeah, all the guys like in front of me just stay up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just whether they take time off or something,
or if they lose,
and
even
they don't move.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because you would think they should. Like you should be probably 2 or 3. But either way, I mean, if they're gonna give you someone off a win, it's got to be Zombie, because Max is gonna be fighting the champ. So it would be Zombie, and if they were gonna give you someone off a loss, then it would be Ortega. And unless, do they ever ask you in a situation where a big title fight is coming with Max and Volkanovski, would they ever ask you if you could be ready on that night in case something goes wrong? Has that ever happened to you? What would you think if it did, and how does that work out?
Yeah, no, it hasn't happened to me, but they do that for main event slots, especially title fights. So, yeah, I would love to, be a part of something like that. Like they would just have me have to make the weight, you know what I mean? And then I would get paid to.
Looks like the screen froze with Josh, but we might get him back. Josh, can you hear me? Josh? Josh Emmett, can you hear me? Josh, can you hear me?
Yes, there we go.
So you were saying you get paid. Was it something like a minimum or some amount or something?
Yeah, I think it just depends. So they were saying typically if it's a main event slot, it's a title fight. They'll have a backup just in case something happens. And yeah, I would do that. I would just need to know soon. If they're going to fight March 5th. Yeah, I would just have to know so I could start getting my weight down and doing all that.
That makes sense. So you really should have one more victory and then a title fight unless you get a title fight next. But would your feeling be it's either one more victory and then a title fight or a title fight? No other situation.
Yeah, no, it's really whatever the UFC. I haven't got to fight anyone in the top 5, so I could see a lot of people complaining and saying how's he deserve a title fight, but right off the bat. But I would take it if something happened. I would take it in a heartbeat, or if there was an injury of some sort, or or if I can just get a title eliminator my next fight, and then the winner get the shot at the title. So I have 2 fights left on my contract, and yeah, so if I could write it out perfect, title eliminator, win the title.
Absolutely. And Volkanovski would be a really interesting matchup with you. You'd have a rare situation where I think you'd have a slight height advantage. And
for once,
you're right. Yep, exactly. And I think you have the one-punch power. He'd be an interesting matchup because you're both so dynamic. I'm sure you'd like that fight. It'd be exciting. Have you thought about it? Have you played it out in your head?
I would love that fight. Like he's the best. Like you can't. The guy's undefeated in the UFC. He's beat the best of the best. He is the best in the division. And I always said it'd be awesome to fight him. You know what I mean? Just because. Yeah, we're so similar, and it's like stylistically, I think everyone in front of me, him and I match up the best.
Yeah, I think it'd be a really exciting fight. I really got to believe in 2022 we're going to see you fighting for the title, and hope it's under the best circumstances where you're getting a full training camp. Although if they have you as a backup for Holloway and Volk, then at least they'd give you some time as well. It almost seems like that almost never happens, though, where a title fight falls through and the backup comes into it. I can't even remember a time when it did, although I know in some situations I think something like that happens, or they find a guy last second. I forget what it was where one guy wouldn't fly.
I remember back in the day in Sacramento when TJ Dillashaw was going to fight, I think, Renan Barão. That happened. I think something happened with Renan on making weight. He fell or something and had to go to the hospital. So Joe Soto filled in like last minute. And then, of course, Ali Aquinta fought Khabib last minute as well.
Right.
It's like it does happen. And, hey, man, I would take that opportunity in a heartbeat. You wouldn't even have to ask me. You'd already know the answer.
Awesome. And I think getting this fight under your belt, assuming that you will be fighting against somewhere in the next several months, you'll be back in the groove. You're not going to have to worry about being careful the first time back from surgery. Yeah. So I think we're going to see an even better Josh Emmett than we saw last Saturday, and you look darn good then. Well, Josh Emmett, what's the best place for people to support you on social media? Or you have any gear or anything that you're selling or anything? Let us know real quick, and then we'll jump off in a minute.
It's Josh Emmett UFC on Twitter and Instagram. It's JOSHEMMETT UFC. I have, a Facebook page, Josh Emmett, and then everything that everyone that supports me and all my sponsors and everything I'm a part of is on my website at joshemmett.com. I have some apparel on there as well if people want to check out my website.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate it, Josh. You're out there representing Sacramento and Team Alpha Male, an amazing team, man. And big respect to you. Always appreciate your time, man. I'm such a big fan of yours and can't wait to see you kill it in 2022. And wish you have a very happy holidays and a happy New Year, my friend.
Cool. Thank you. That's the plan. And thanks for having me on. And you have a great Christmas as well.
Will do. Merry Christmas. Take care.
You guys take care.
Thanks so much. Good night. And that was Josh Emmett. What a cool guy, man. Would love to see him as a champion. Him and Volkanovski would be a killer fight. This would be a rare situation where Josh isn't giving away 2 or 3 or 5 inches in height. He'd be like an inch or an inch and a half taller.
Right? That's what the kids are saying, 100.
100, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Hey, Colin, you know what? I want to thank you for another amazing episode. Everybody out there, make sure to follow us on our social media. It's at MMA Power Hour. We are hopping over to do our own thing away from Fight TV, so follow us on social media. We'll be doing a bunch of good things coming into the new year here. Nothing bad to say about Fight TV. It's FITE.tv. Make sure, if you're watching on our social media now, to jump over, go ahead and get signed up. There's a bunch of good pay-per-view events and great fights and free content as well, just like our show. Yeah, check them out and make sure to stay tuned with everything we got coming, because we got some big things coming in 2022.
Yes, we do, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be an amazing year. Dr. Roorda, I'll consider you tapping out there. I appreciate everything you do. It's amazing working with you for almost 5 years now, man. March
and
will be 5
real
years.
quick, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you to our guys here on the set at Third Wheel. You guys are awesome. And guys, look out for your friends, your neighbors, even your coworkers, even your parents, your kids, and let people know you got their back and you love them. Take good care of your pets. Unconditional love is what you get. Make sure they're warm in the cold weather. Have fresh water. Walk your dog no matter what time he needs it. And make sure your cat has a clean litter box. Be that guy. Be that girl. Spread the love. And it'll come back to you a million times over. For the entire team at the MMA Power Hour and Third Wheel Studios, this is Colin Crandall, and for tonight, I am tapping out.